Good morning. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. Welcome, and thank you for joining the Tinexta Group consolidated results at June 30th, 2020 conference call. As a reminder, all participants are in listen-only mode. After the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Should anyone need assistance during the conference call, they may signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on their telephone. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Mr. Lawrence Kay, Director of Communication and IR. Please go ahead, sir.
Buongiorno, good morning one and all. Thank you for participating in this call. I'll be doing this call together with Oddone Pozzi, our CFO, he's based in Milan, I'm down in Rome, but in remote working mode, we are doing this in this fashion. But we're pleased to go ahead and give you the first half results. The presentation you should have received. If you didn't, it's also on the website. So without further ado, I'll pass the microphone over to Oddone. Go ahead, Oddone.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Good morning, everybody. I'm very pleased to be here for the first conference call about the results of the group. So, as Larry mentioned, you should have the presentation. So let's start. Let's say that we had a very good first half for the group, and especially the second quarter has been really solid. This is going to confirm, the resilience of our business and, the positive investment that we have done, and our capability and the capability of the management to be able to really react quickly to a situation that from the macroeconomic standpoint is not at all easy. All the views contributed to the solid performance. As you may have seen from the result, Digital Trust is back to generating solid revenue and margin, and especially in the CIM, we were very able in a very difficult environment to quickly respond to the market, to the client demand, and support them and being able to deliver very strong results. IMS also demonstrated the capability to identify opportunity, to react, and also the Q2 of IMS has been very strong. So overall, we were able to deliver very good results, very strong results, despite of a revenue that is slightly declining, driven by the macroeconomic situation. But EBITDA was very strong, and also the free cash flow in the range of 29 million continued to grow compared to the first half of last year in a very strong manner. Net financial debt dropped down to 115, let's say. That is, down from 129 of the end of December. But if we compare with the same period on a LTM basis, we dropped from 140 down to 115, and we include in this number also the buyback that was done in the range of 9 million. If we move to the following page, here we have the highlights here. So revenue was slightly down of 2.2%, but in a very tough and difficult environment. And EBITDA before the stock option impact that we had last year, that was not in a run rate mode, but was a one single hit of 3.3 million. EBITDA pre-stock option is just 1.2 million below the previous year, so we demonstrated the capability to promptly react to a very difficult situation. In total, EBITDA was 34.4 compared to the 32.4 of last year, growing about 6%. Earnings before interest and taxes are up 1.4%, and the net income is up 2 million. And as I already mentioned, the free cash flow increased compared to the first half of 2019 by in the range of 22%. That is a very, very good news for the group. Shareholder equity is improving as, like I said, the financial debt is down quite significantly. If we move to the P&L, I would comment here that despite of like I said, of a macroeconomic situation that was very tough, the group was able to handle and to manage all the different lines of the P&L in a very capable and efficient manner. As you can see here, the service costs and personal costs are, despite of the slight decline of the revenue, going down in terms of incidence on the revenue. Both the main two cost line. We have an increase of cost of raw materials as a percentage of revenue, because this is driven by the revenue mix that we deliver, especially in the digital trust. We were able to sell much more product, off-the-shelf product, driven by the demand in the internet, and this obviously is a driver of an increase of the cost of raw material. But overall, the group was able to deliver EBITDA in the range of 28%, keeping a very high profitability in a very difficult external environment. In terms of depreciation, amortization, and provision, there is an increase in the range of 2 million. Half of this, let's say, is a prudent approach in terms of provision for potential bad debts. Although, as we could see in the following part of the presentation, we were able to handle very well all the collection of receivables. The other part is as a result of the capex that we have performed in the past. In the financial part of the P&L, financial charges are slightly below last year as a result of the continued reduction of the indebtedness. In the financial income, we recorded in the first half a profit in the range of 700,000, driven basically by the renegotiation of the contract, for which we had this saving that, according to accounting principle, we have to record immediately. In profit before taxes is up to 17.2% of the revenue, growing compared to last year was 15.9%, and in the income taxes also here we have a slight benefit from the IRAP waive according to the government decision that contributed for 700,000 also here. Overall, the group was able to deliver in the first half a profitability of 16 million, up 2 million from last year, with an incidence on the revenue in the range of 13%, 2 percentage point up compared to the previous year. If we move to the next slide, here we have the Q2 results. Q2 results are up, basically Q2 has been, as you know perfectly, it has been impacted overall by the COVID situation, the lockdown, but the company and the group was able in each segment to promptly react to this situation with the capability to bring to customer innovative solution, innovative products, and especially in the digital trust, we leverage our dominant position in the market. So overall, in this Q2, the revenue were up 3.1%, as we will see later on. Basically, digital trust was up in the range of 10%. Credit information and management was slightly down 3%, but with a very different revenue mix. So basically, we have some, the credit information part was slightly affected, by the lockdown. With our finance and corporate clients were asking less services on that, but we were able to basically open a new line of business with the guarantee of financing that was able to basically offset the drop in the other part of the business. Innovation and marketing services was perfectly in line with the previous year, and this was very good news. You know perfectly that in Q1 we suffered, but basically as in early 2019 we recorded some revenue that moved from 2018 to the first part of 2019. In terms of EBITDA, digital trust delivered basically the same percentage of profitability in the range of 28%, so going up by 0.7 million. And in the credit information management, Larry will elaborate later during the presentation with our company Promozione Servizi. We were able to deliver excellent revenue and very, very strong EBITDA. So the EBITDA of the segment was at 36%. Innovation and marketing services perfectly in line with the results of prior year, as with a very strong percentage of 50.2%. Total EBITDA was up 31%, obviously including the fact that last year were recorded 3.3 million related to stock option. EBIT was up by 40% and the net income by 60%. So we had a very, very strong Q2 with, that was confirming the resilience first of our business, but especially the capability to be really strong in the time to market and to be able to react, to be able to meet customer expectation very quick. Free cash flow was also very positive in this period. So now we are going to enter in the business unit performance, so I will leave to Larry to go ahead. Please, Larry.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Oddone. We'll now go a little bit more into detail regarding the business units. We have both on page 8, we have first half and also second quarter numbers. Clearly, I should also mention that this, if you will, innovation that we're giving you a more clear view of what happens in the quarter just passed. This is something that my compliments to Oddone. He was able to obviously we pulled these numbers out. We had them, but we feel it's important so that you have them, so that the transparency is that much greater. What we have in the first half, I think Oddone has gone through it, but just in particular, digital trust was certainly up 6.3% in terms of revenues. That was just looking back to what we were doing in the first quarter, that was just up by 1%. Credit information and management, that was way down in the first quarter. It was it was still down -7%, 7.6% for the first half. But as you see in the second quarter, it was only down by 2.7%. Innovation and Marketing Services, minus 8.8 in terms of revenues. Again, a significant improvement relative to first quarter. And in fact, if you look on the quarterly basis, IMS was literally flat, both in terms of revenues and actually slightly positive in terms of EBITDA. So you can see the inversion of the trend in the second quarter, as we mentioned in the press release. This really did start from May, and we saw a very strong snapback in all of the companies and all of the BUs starting from that point. If you look a little bit more in depth on page 9, the off-the-shelf products for digital trust were the ones that they continue to grow at 4.7%. As you may recall, they were up more or less in the same area in the first quarter. While the digital solutions, which incorporates all of those more advanced products, those grew 23.3%. I have to say that while revenues picked up speed in the second quarter, they grew 9.6%, EBITDA grew 9.1%, and the slight difference in growth rate is attributable to the more rapid growth of digital solutions, as Mo noted, but these latter have a slightly lower EBITDA relative to off-the-shelf. Consequently, there was a slower growth in EBITDA. If you look on page 10, you can see the progress in our top product. Actually, I should say solution. These are onboarding clients for our clients. We are up to over 100 clients, 13 outside of Italy, so over 10%. Transactions were up 44%, and you can see the clients. One thing that's very interesting here is the international ones. Landesbank in Germany signed. Camerfirme in Colombia was also able to bring in some clients as well, and Erste Croatia, the Erste Bank in Croatia. If we go on page 11, GoSign, again we have 77 clients, which is a very nice increase. 70 out of those, 5 were non-Italian. The new customers include Allianz Value, also in French, Chiesi, and again Camerfirme in Colombia is also a client, so to speak. Now we have in credit information and management. This is a very nice story here. The fact is that as Oddone mentioned, following the ministerial decrees, the management reacted quickly, and in terms of time to market, we satisfied the demand. There was not an automatic question that you just hang out your sign and it comes in and you do more business. No, to the contrary, we actually prepared our operations. We prepared, in particular as well, our commercial agents and diverted, if you will, even from the more traditional credit information management business to the Promozione Servizi, and they, as you can see indirectly, they grew very significantly, growing over 3%, over 3 times. So, as a result of Promozione Servizi's increase, EBITDA also increased because that business has a significantly higher EBITDA margin. On page 13, we turn to Innovation and Marketing Services. Here you can see many people were very skeptical regarding the capacity of this business unit to bounce back. We told you back in both in May, but then again in June when the board decided to confirm the new guidance for the year, we saw that this area was indeed much more resilient than, quite honestly, the market was giving us credit for. In particular, there is no question that while the restrictive measures put into place by the Italian government were led to more difficulty, particularly in the Comarch area, because Comarch is a business where we need to be physically present. That's at least how the original business model was made. But the fact is that the sector's operating structures reacted quickly. We rolled out additional offerings, particularly within warrant. But as you will see on the next page, the fact is that even within warrant, if you look on page 14, the tax credit applications being processed. Hopefully, I didn't lose you for too much. But on page 14, we're talking about the business resilience of the research and development tax credit applications. And the fact is that as the graph illustrates, the activity related to tax credits for research and development continued in Q1, but remained at a very sustained level in Q2, and really very much in line with 2019. The backlog of applications, and this is significant if you work in construction and engineering, you know that the backlog is your future, and the total R&D applications already in hand, as you can see, is we're still talking something on the order of easily roughly 10 months of application to be processed. The applications for hyper depreciation, Industry 4.0, we have 650 of those, and therefore that business in and of itself is continuing. In terms of other subsidized finance, as I mentioned, the amounts offered by the national and regional bodies, i.e. in Italy, has more than doubled. And the one area of major focus is that of the eco bonuses. Those are also being promoted by the European Union. We are about, and probably tomorrow we'll be releasing Warrant Hub and Rivalita will be announcing also a joint project or a joint offering whereby we will be helping companies obtain eco bonuses, and that will be an offer. Because both you need to know how to make the application, but also so that you can obtain the real estate overview and the evaluation that will be offered together. At this point, I turn the microphone over to Oddone for the balance sheet analysis.
Okay, thank you, Larry. So let's move to the balance sheet part. Also here we have very encouraging results and performance from the group. So basically, as you can see here, the net invested capital is down, and this is, and then here inside we have a very good news. Basically, despite of the very tough moment, the group was able to handle very well, and we improved significantly the working capital that is down from the beginning of the year in the range of more than 6 million, and let's say also compared to the previous year, so keeping out any impact from the seasonality, so we had a better situation. As a result of this, and we will go slightly deeper later on in the next slide, you will see that the financial indebtedness is going down in 11% in just one half, and despite the fact that we purchased treasury shares for 9 million, and this was done, most of it basically was done in June, where the level of the share price was much lower than now. If we move to how our financial indebtedness is made of, you will see the net financial position as we know at 115 million euro. The financial debt is in the range of 120 million, and then we have 23 million coming from vendor loans, put and calls, and other 30 million from the debt for recurring assets via leasing, that is IFRS 16, or also rents. So at the end of the period, we have cash for 36 million. As you probably have seen, we also renegotiated some contracts during the month of the second quarter, basically, but also we renewed the contract with Intesa San Paolo that allows us to even lower the cost of debt, and we have new financing for potential future needs. If we move to page 18, as you can see here, since the end of the year, we generated 29 million of free cash flow. We had an impact of dividend distributed to minorities for 2 million. The financial expenses in cash were just 0.4 million, and we ran an acquisition of Private Lab for in the range of 2 million. And so without the buyback, our net financial position at the end of June would have been in the range of 106 million. So a very nice decline. Let's say that if we look at this also on LTM basis, definitely we were able to generate some cash from the working capital, and this is a very nice news, and so this is the situation as of today. I would move to the outlook. Basically, the group released a new outlook in June 23rd. During we start this work during basically the period of lockdown, and we came up with a revenue higher than 250 million and an EBITDA of 72 million, with a slight improvement in the EBITDA margin compared to 2019. After the first half and after the very solid Q2, we are really very, very confident to deliver these results. We achieve the results of first half, as we said, driven by the resilience of our business for sure, but also our capability to react really promptly to this new scenario. The cost saving in terms of cost of personnel that occurred were in the range of 1 million basically, and this was also needed to face the difficult times that we have in some business, like Comarch, like Larry said just a few minutes ago. But what is coming up from the first half is our capability to be on the market, our capability to react to customer needs. And so after this first half, we reiterate our strong confidence to deliver the results indicated in our outlook. We will plan also to continue to generate obviously free cash flow, and on the same perimeter basis we expect to lower also our net financial position. So I completed my presentation. And so I don't know, Larry, if you have something to add, or so we move to the Q&A section.
I think that's fine. We can open it up for questions and answers at this point.
Thank you. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. To remove yourself from the question queue, please press star and two. Please pick up the receiver when asking questions. Anyone who has a question may press star and one at this time. The first question is from Russell Poynton with Edison. Please go ahead.
Morning, Laurence. Morning, Oddone. Congratulations on the numbers. I have three questions, if I may. First of all, on IMS, you covered warrants pretty well in the presentation. But with respect to Comarch, could you just give some indication of its growth rate in Q2? And also looking to Q3 and Q4, are you anticipating some catch-up spend from clients who perhaps didn't spend in Q2, or has that revenue been lost due to the travel restrictions, etc.? And are there any other headwinds in that business? And given the backlog on the R&D claims of 10 months, I'm just feeling for how much is too long. Do clients get bored of waiting? Second question is could you just clarify how much financial assistance you've received from the government through furloughs, etc., and how that's manifested itself in the financials? I see there's an inflow in working capital for government grants, etc. So what are the conditions, and are you looking at repaying that? And the third question is, you bought shares back during the period at an average price of what looks like about €11.60, and you're buying shares back at an obviously higher price post the period end. Could you talk about the strategy on share buybacks versus other things like M&A and shareholder returns? And you've had this authority for quite a while, so what has changed? Does it mean there's less potential for M&A? Thanks very much.
Okay, maybe I go for the Comarch answer. Maybe you touch upon, and maybe I leave also to Larry to further elaborate. As Larry mentioned during his presentation, definitely Comarch is the business that was impacted most significantly by the current situation. Definitely our capability to really work with the client, by the client, was not enabled by the current situation. So what do we expect in the second half? So basically, the last part of Q2 was in line with our revised guidance. So we had no further surprise or impact from the situation. We do expect to deliver, definitely at the lower level compared to the previous year, but we expect to have a reasonable profitability in the second part of the year. This is the only area that is definitely impacted. Larry, I don't know if you have something more to add on Coban.
The only thing to add is the fact that the government has implemented, or at least has said that it will be implementing some subsidies on behalf of companies that undertake export promotion, and therefore the temporary export management model is good for that, and this is something that should start to kick in when it is fully effective, and therefore it's really more a matter of time that when this will happen. That's what I would add on.
Okay. Maybe I address the third question, that is the buyback of the shares. Basically the management went ahead to buy shares to serve, the stock option plan for the 3 years that was approved by the board of directors. And the shareholder meeting later on. The group start to buy share in a moment where the share were very low. We have to consider that all these shares, will be part of the capital invested of the group for the next 2-3 years, but at the end they will be, basically sold to the managers that when the manager will achieve the result. So let's say is a temporary invested capital for the group, and they are purchased to serve, the stock option plan for the period 2021 and 22. Let's say that the group and the board decided to buy shares during the month of June, and with very in a positive way, as the share price now is much higher.
If I may, I'll jump back and with regard to warrant and the backlog on research and development financial subsidies. That clearly, we had already been anticipating that this year would be more or less, in terms of volumes, more or less in line with last year. We weren't seeing much growth in that, whereas financial assistance for other areas is certainly on the rise. In fact, if the actual way we look at the revenues, we were increasing the amount of revenues from innovation, etc. Not just on R&D, not only from hyper depreciation, but also just generally helping out companies on innovation. Moreover, we have, for example, within the government subsidies, the government has announced 2 subsidies that regard, again, tax credits for sanification, as well as basic adjustment of work environments. And again, you need to be able, a small company that wants to apply for these tax credits, where do they go to? They can go to their accountant, but if their accountant is not necessarily up to speed on it, they need to go to the leader. And Warrant Hub is clearly the leader in this type of business. We don't ask for much up front. We only ask for a portion of the actual tax credit when it is in fact awarded. Does that answer your question? Those answer your questions, Russell?
Yeah, thanks. There was the question about the government grants as well, the money you received with respect to, in lockdowns for COVID. I see there's a cash inflow in the cash flow, obviously. But is there any other effect on the financial statement? And could you talk about the level of subsidies you received?
The level of what? Of
the government grants.
Yes.
Through,
O'Donnell, you want to answer, or shall I step in?
Please go ahead.
Okay, no, first off, in terms of the government furloughing program, or in Italian it's FIS, we, as O'Donnell mentioned, we had roughly just under 1,700,000, something like that.
Right.
From the government furlough program, and we also had an effect at the tax level, according to the relaunch decree. We had another 700,000 roughly. That meant on a one-off basis we were able to save on taxes, such that in all of your models, if you are modeling our tax rate, the current tax rate, I think it's 25%, is not something that's your run rate. It's a one-off savings that we've had.
The amount of the first tax includes, this one-off that basically was waived the payment of a part of a corporate tax, let's say, and so this is impacted the Q1, but it's 700K. If you compare to the previous year, you add up this 700K is perfectly aligned. So it's a one-off on the profit, a one-off on cash.
Is that clear, Russell?
That's great. Thank you, Lawrence.
Okay. All right. Next question.
The next question is from Carlo Maritano with Intermonte. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I just have a series of questions. The first one is on the digital trust. In the first quarter, we saw Camera Firma declining around 30%. I would like to know what was the performance of Camera Firma in the second quarter once the issues related to the marketing, to the go-to-market revamp was implemented. And always on the digital trust, you mentioned that the digital solutions usually in the initial phase have a lower margin compared to the off-the-shelf products. I would like to know what could be the target margin for this kind of products when they approach maturity. Third question is on M&A. In the previous call, you mentioned that something will be, you will resume M&A this year. What could be the timing for this kind of operations, and what are the areas that you're looking the most right now? And finally, on the targets, midterm targets, are you going to update your business plan in the coming year, in the coming months, or maybe you will update in January, February as usual? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I go with Camera Firma. So with Camera Firma, and I was not here during Q1, but what I learned, that I was told also that this was a temporary situation. In fact, the revenue of Q1 of Camera Firma was significantly down compared to, let's say, last year Q1. In the second quarter, Camera Firma was able to mostly recover the drop that they had in Q1. So basically, results in terms of revenue of the Camera Firma group are basically aligned to previous year, and this is a very good news. In terms of profitability, also here we had a recovery of part of the negative situation of Q1. So let's say that up to now the situation, let's say, is reasonably addressed. So is not going to be an issue as could have been expected looking at the Q1 results. If you mentioned about the M&A, also here, this is an area where the group is working. M&A is part of our goals and target. Let's say that we are working, and so we think that something could come according to also what Larry and Mr. Chevallard already told in previous conference call. So basically, the COVID situation a little bit slow down processes, but targets and goals are still there as communicated during the previous conference call. I don't know, Larry, if you want to add something on that, as I was not there in the previous conference call.
Sure.
Please.
Sure. No, I think we are. I think the point is that we are absolutely continuing, and we are at a very good position with the M&A. If anything, we have almost too many things that we're looking at, but we're trying to be more selectful. We have, as we have anticipated, we are within the digital trust segment. We are looking at reinforcing our position within the cybersecurity aspect. Digital trust is made up of many different elements. There is the element of regulation, there is the element of technology, and there's the element of security. Not to say that we are necessarily weak, but we think that this is an area that we can actually bring much more to the table, and we are quite honestly in negotiations with companies in this area, and also hoping to bring an entire package. But these things are not easily done, and so it's taking some time. But we are very optimistic that within the near future we'll be able to bring this to the market. We are also pursuing. We have not stopped, so we are continuing to pursue outside of Italy, and we will be looking in particular in Germany, and that's something that is that we're pursuing. And finally, within the warrant area, we are also looking at something that, again, as we already had anticipated back in February, that we are looking to buy something outside of out and beyond the Alps, so to speak. So the M&A activity is there. We have prepared as well, even financially, for it. That being said, as we have demonstrated, the cash flow is very positive, and we feel very, the board is very, if you will, positive on the question of moving forward of M&A.
With reference to the 3-year plan, first of all, our guidance for 2020 is not so far from the previous one that we delivered pre-COVID. So we did not have the need to change all the plan now. Let's say that we are totally on track with the new guidance, and in autumn we will go through the autumn-winter, the standard process, and we will be able to deliver the new 3 years plan as we did in the past in the same period. So we have not been strongly, let's say, affected from the COVID situation, but we were able to react with new products and so on. So this has not changed. Obviously, we have some areas that are going better, like the part of guarantee funds for CIM or digital trust. But overall, we have no major disruption. We have no major disruption from the COVID. So we will continue our process. And as Larry said, we are working strongly on the M&A side, and so I think it will be much more reasonable to present a new plan which includes eventually all the new targets that we are, let's say, targeting.
Yeah, Oddone, if I may, I just add one more thing: is that it obviously is it's a complex process, not something you do in a week in terms of building up and reviewing the business plan. But the board, I think, also was very clear on saying, look, we've done an excellent job. Things have done very well, and we've done very well. There are uncertainties. We certainly the country, the continent, and not to say the world, we're not out of the woods yet. So prudence in terms of where we're going and on what basis we can plan for the future means that we need to not push too hard, too fast. We need to see exactly what's going to happen when we come back after the vacation. If I may also respond, Carlo, to your question regarding the digital trust solutions, we don't give out a specific target for those solutions. They also, quite honestly, vary from top to GoSign to KPI, which is the Internet of Things solutions that we've developed for NL. And so these three basic products, along with DISME, which is still out there, and we're actually utilizing that on a very small basis. These are all solutions that initially, just because of the startup costs, have a lower average EBITDA margin, but we feel perfectly at ease in saying that over the long run we should be. We actually feel good about where we are, when we may be even able to increase. If anything, the track record is very clear for the past 10 years. InfoCert has continuously increased its EBITDA margin, and that's how we operate. We prefer not to give you specifics on the individual products.
Okay, thank you.
The next question is from Andrea Bonfà with Banca Akros. Please go ahead.
Hello, good morning to everybody. Oddone, my main question is related to the performance of credit information management. The margins shown this quarter were astonishing. You explained in the presentation why you were able to achieve this margin, but I wonder if there is any help from, Cassa Integrazione Guadagni, and what's your view on the sustainability of this margin, because these are record margin for this division, of 36%, something we never saw in this business, and what's your view in the next quarter or even for next year, because if we need to project this margin going forward or not. The second question is on if you can elaborate on the performance of Lux Trust, if we shall still expect a loss for this year, or how things are evolving there. Thank you very much.
Okay, Andrea, first of all, as already mentioned, we did not have a material impact from Cassa Integrazione or whatever. The total impact in the first half for the group was 0.7 million euro, total group. So, as you may understand, this is not absolutely material, and this is not the driver of our results. If we move to the credit information segment, definitely we had a very, very strong contribution from promozioni e servizi. Honestly, this has been also above our expectation, but this from one side was our capability to really jump immediately on the matter and to be able to meet promptly the customer requirement. Let's say that at this pace, we do not expect that we'll continue at this pace forever, but and also still this is something new. So the management was ready, but we was able to react immediately, switching people to work on this subject and so on. What Larry and myself have been told by the management, and we have, let's say, an update every couple of weeks on this, that the performance of this segment, will last. Not at this pace, but will be definitely much higher than it was, let's say, in Q1 or in previous year. So let's say that. On the other side, we have the Nolva portion that had a decline in the second quarter because definitely the business was lower because both in finance and corporate the demand, the request was lower, but now the situation is almost back to normality, let's say, and they are confident to deliver a second half that could be even better than the second half of last year. So this is definitely very encouraging. So overall, let's say that one part could compensate, let's say, the other, and so this is the view that we have right now. I don't know, Larry, if you want to add something else here.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So we do expect by the end of the year results not different from last year in terms of EBITDA.
Thank you very much. And on Luxtrust, can you elaborate on that?
On Luxtrust, let's say we did, the situation is, not in a positive area in terms of EBITDA. We have some preliminary figures, and as we mentioned also into the press release, for which the results of the first part of the year is negative, and it could be probably that this will happen also in the second part of the year. Let's say that we are ready to discuss with our partner some measures that we need to put in place. So this will be part of an activity that will be run in the next weeks, also in August, trying to find an agreement with the partner in order to restore the profitability of this company. So we are focused on that, and we will try to address, and we are focused to address this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea.
The next question is from Andrea Scauri with Emanik. Please go ahead.
Yes, hi. Good morning, everyone. Sorry if my question has already been addressed because I jumped later in the call. On the M&A side, and in particular on the credit information business, would you expect, given the results that you had, some kind of consolidation in this business? What I'm wondering is that if you are considering, as I asked also in the past, the possibility to make a kind of a spin-off of this business, to consider some M&A options in order to crystallize the value of the other part of the business. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want, Andrea, as we've talked in the past, we certainly are always on the lookout for possibilities of creating value. And I think with Oddone as well, one of the things that will become more in focus in the future is the return on capital invested. And so this is something that over time that will become more important. That being said, we've been very heartened by the management's response to COVID and the response to the market. And clearly, when we bought Promozione Servizi back in 2018, we had an idea that it was a good business. It's proven to be a very solid business. And with the interaction between Promozione Servizi and Innolva, as well as with other companies, has proven to be, or at least within this quarter, and we foresee for the foreseeable future a very positive development, such that clearly once the crisis has been passed, there may be a slowdown, but the fact is that we've been able to strike significant numbers of relationships with not only medium-sized but small banks, and so it's turned out to be very good. So the basic question there is things are going well. We are looking as well at from a strategic point of view, reinforcing the business, and that's something that we're looking at. There was even something looked at just yesterday in the board, and so we are not sitting on our hands, so to speak. It's an active process, and we are managing the situation. And quite honestly, it's a good situation. So we're not necessarily in a sell mode at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
As a reminder, if you wish to register for a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone. The next question is from Isacco Brambilla with Mediobanca. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for taking my questions. I have 3. The first one is on the State Guarantee Fund. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how the environment is evolving, how is competition, and where has Promozione Servizi positioned itself, for instance, versus main competitors. Also, how demand for this service is evolving in July, and whether we should expect a performance in the third quarter similar, contribution in the third quarter from Guarantee Fund similar to the one of the second quarter. The second question is on the interesting KPIs that you have shared on Warrant Hub. I was wondering if you can confirm me that the number of applications elaborated in 2019 from Warrant Hub was in the region of 7,000 applications, and also if the backlog mentioned in the presentation should be deployed in the second half of 2020. Then the last question is on your outlook. Just think about the fact that you posted 6% EBITDA growth in the first half. Your outlook points to a flat EBITDA for the full year. In your guidance, is there any kind of prudence in terms of company-specific elements, or is just the willingness to be cautious because we don't know whether a second wave of COVID may arise in the second half and thus impact Italian economy?
Maybe, Larry, I go for the last question and then I leave you for details of the other. You made a very good point. We are up 6%, and the forecast for the end of the year is basically flat. Let's say that we are very, very confident to deliver these results. The last part of the Q2 was very encouraging. Let's say that the external environment is also, has some kind of volatility that could apply around. Let's say that we are very, very confident to deliver these results, and the group attitude is always very, very cautious, prudent, but the group is really committed every time to deliver the results. I don't know, Larry, if you want to add this before we move to.
No, I think that's fine. I mean, I think how the group is managed, our track record speaks for itself, and we like to say what we know we can achieve, and then obviously there can always be upside, but we're very prudent about how we move, but we're not going to change today. Regarding the State Guarantee Fund, as Isacco, as you know, I mean, the fund has been very active. Something on the order of almost 16 billion euros have been financed, particularly for operations up to 30,000 euros. That's around 800,000 requests have actually come in, and so we are doing our part of that. Obviously, we haven't done anywhere close to the 15 billion, but what is important here is that we are working with as I mentioned, primarily the small banks that have that capillary, the grassroots capability of getting in with clients. I mean, we have something on the order of 106 clients, 34 banks. We work with 55 cooperative banks, as well as leasing companies, etc. So we work with a lot of those. Obviously, we even work with Unicredit or Intesa, but they, for the most part, work primarily in-house. They have their own capabilities. So the way we see this as evolving is that there is, to get through this emergency, companies do need liquidity, and we are working with the banks. This is, yes, we can go out and we do some direct marketing, but the fact is that the majority of the business comes to us via the banks. Regarding the KPIs of Warrant, we have indeed, as I mentioned, 3,300 applications already in the backlog, and most of those will be worked on in 2020, but a good bit will also fold into next year. The number that you cited, 7,000, is more or less in line, so that's fine. So we just see this. What is heartening is that the Italian companies are still dedicating time and resources to research and development, and that is not going to fall by the wayside just because of the COVID situation. So we're obviously heartened by that from a general point of view, but we can say that innovation is not at all dead, and to the contrary, we are helping it as much as we can.
Very clear, many thanks.
The next question is from Christopher Seidenfaden with Mediobanca. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my question. Larry, you referred in your answer to Andrea Scauri earlier with regards to the Credit Information and Management division that at the board meeting yesterday, rather than discussing a potential sale, in fact, you discussed perhaps strengthening the business, maybe adding, maybe making some acquisitions or other actions. If you could say a word on that, that's one question. You also referred to Oddone Pozzi's arrival as possibly also paving the way for analysis in terms of return on capital employed, or return on investment, capital allocation, in other words, through the divisions. I think you already give quite a nice breakdown with margins across the divisions. Are you going to add this information? Is it something we can expect to see at some point? Thanks.
Good morning, Christopher. I would first off, with regard to the CIM, I would say that we are looking at two or three different things. First off is utilizing the services that we have in the credit recovery and extending that into other areas and working with third parties. So that's something that we are looking at even perhaps investing on a minority basis, but to ensure as well the collaboration to create business. So that's one thing. The other is looking at international collaboration and the possibility of reinforcing with the utilization of our platform by non-Italians and vice versa, taking a non-Italian company and selling their products through our network. This is something that is still on the drawing table, but it's something that's out there, and we'll see if we can carry that forward. With regard to Oddone, I have to let him talk about his approach. I will say, just in anticipation, that the return on capital employed is my thing, and I'm an advocate with him. That's an internal sort of question. We certainly have to get our arms around it better. But he's more on cash flow. So I'll let him talk about cash flow, if I may.
Larry, you anticipated my answer. As most of you that are in call today already know, I try to put a lot of focus on the cash flow generation. I think this is the first priority that I try to put here as an help, to convert the excellent economic results into cash. So we will, I will put, and together with the team, we will put a lot of focus on cash flow generation, because this for sure will allow to continue our dividend policy, but even more, this will allow us to perform an M&A activity. So this is absolutely a priority. We are working deeply with all the teams inside the company, and also with the management to have focus also on this. We are glad that I am glad that if you look at the balance sheet of this quarter, we were able, the group was able, in a very difficult environment, to shrink the receivable portion, keeping also the payable shrinked, and so for the first time since many halves, the group was able to generate also cash from the working capital. So focus will be put definitely on that. As a discipline, we will put in capex, and we will. My goal is to help the group to convert as much as possible the EBITDA in cash. As far as concerned, Chris, we talked many times about this in our previous experience. Also, the capital allocation will be something very important for the group. This is something that will be in our goals, and we will put focus also on this. Again, we will, the goal is to generate a solid cash flow that allow us to continue also a policy of M&A, a successful M&A, as the group has done till yet.
Thank you. That's great. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, because I think it's important, and we don't want to just, on page 16 of the presentation, the net capital invested, net invested capital, it was working capital that drove that improvement of 3.7% decline, and that was even despite the fact that there was an addition of almost 2 million for provisional goodwill for the consolidation of Privacy Lab. So this is something that in this half we're already doing that, but I think Oddone is bringing something. By the way, in the future we will have all of the. We've mentioned last year that we started implementing a greater degree of integration in the group, and within that, Oddone has laid the basis for having a very closer integration on administration, finance, and control throughout the group, i.e. basically the people will be responding to him directly, and that means that the control of the group in all of its operating elements will be that much tighter in the future.
Absolutely.
Thanks. That's very helpful, both Larry and Oddone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
The next question is a follow-up from Andrea Scauri with Lemanik. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. A quick follow-up again on the credit info business. Do you perceive that the current price pressure that impacted the numbers of the overall sector over the last years is in some way easing at the moment? Do you think that on a domestic basis the two main players, Cervet and CRIF, are not competing on prices anymore?
I would have to say that no, there is not any real within the traditional business, credit information as well as the credit recovery business. The competition remains at basically the same level. So I don't see there's been much variation. Going forward, we'll have to see how it evolves, but it's not. We don't foresee any major changes in the present time.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
For any further questions, you may press star and 1 on your telephone. Gentlemen, there are no more questions registered at this time.
I would have to say we've worked hard. Everyone's worked hard for this, in this period. Everyone during the lockdown, it was not easy. Things for us certainly have improved, but we Pierre André Chevallard also sends his regards. He wants to take a vacation, and quite honestly, that's something we've earned there. So, but we will be back all that much more rested and primed for meeting you in September.
Okay, thank you very much to everybody. It has been really a pleasure for me being here today with the first results call from my side. So I think we will enjoy further opportunity in the incoming months. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good vacations, everyone.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.